Hi. So thank you both for meeting me here today. Emily and Amelia, would you both just really briefly introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Emily Nagoski. I'm a sex educator and the author of Come As You Are and Burnout.
I'm Amelia Nagoski. I am a choral conductor and co-author of Burnout.
And thank you both for agreeing to tell me your secrets. I don't know how you feel about secrets, but I really am seduced by them. And I feel like maybe you both might have some juicy secrets. Did you think about anything about that you'd like to share?
Did you think about a secret? Did you choose one?
Well, I wrote a book in which I talk about all my personal life struggles. So I'm kind of an open book.
I feel like you could just pick one then. And then it will be so seductive that people will have to get the book.
Actually, I do have a thing that's not in the book that is not widely known, which is I was recently diagnosed with autism, a kind of autism that's called Aspergers syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about it. I've mentioned it in a couple of places, but it's not out and about yet.
Will you tell us just really briefly a little bit about that process and if it was like a relief feeling or?
Yeah, we talk in the book about the ways that I am very different from Emily in that I have a very hard time connecting with my own internal experience. It's what landed me in trouble in the first place. I ended up in the hospital. I didn't see it coming. Just all of a sudden, I was so sick and I didn't see it coming. And it turns out that's related to kind of a drastic neurological response that's related to the autistic brain. It's a condition called alexithymia that is adjacent to autism, but I'm a COVID long hauler, and it turns out autistic people are more likely to become COVID long haulers. So a lot of the things we talk about in the book are actually are kind of rooted in the difference between me and most other people and why it was so kind of severe for me, and why also I was able to explain it in such clear language in the book. And I had to break it down into the most clear component parts because I didn't get it. I needed to have it written in the most explicit way possible because I needed that. We wrote the book that I needed, and it turned out that my particular need was drastic.
But also very similar to a lot of people, like the tone that the book is written in. It's very conversational, and it's there's a lot of humor in it, which is kind of also unexpected, if that makes sense. But it makes it like an entertaining read, but also really informative. And
yeah. And we wrote the book that I needed. I wouldn't have read it if it was boring.
Wait, so really quick, and let me know if this is too personal. So if you both are identical twins, how does that work in terms of, I mean, that's really fascinating that you still have some neurobiological differences.
We do. We really do. I am going through a process. When she got diagnosed, I was like, well, that's interesting. And I'm still in the process. I haven't been officially diagnosed with anything. But if you looked at us when we were kids and you were like, which one of these is the one with the autism? Everybody would have pointed to me. But I do not have alexithymia. My internal experience, my body communicates very clearly and precisely immediately whenever I have any sort of internal experience. It's the opposite. Amelia's body is nope, got nothing to tell you. Oh wait, now you're lying on the bathroom floor in terrible pain. You think you're gonna die. My body is you have a very minor situation happening somewhere in your stomach. It's just let me keep you abreast of everything that's happening today. So we're very different in that. And we think so it goes to show that you can be genetically identical, raised in the same household, and still your relationship with feelings will be different.
I mean, that's just a huge mind fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that the conversation of nature versus nurture is so I mean, it's consistent. It's always fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Don't know.
Well, yeah. So the details of it we don't know, but the answer, anybody who knows what they're talking about, if you ask them nature or nurture, they'll be like, yes, both. Yes. It is always and explicitly the interaction of the two. Epigenetically, though genetically we're virtually identical, epigenetically we have differences from the moment of our births. We were living different lives, and our brains, which are genetically virtually identical, were reacting to the world in a cumulatively different way over the years.
Specifically, I didn't breathe for 5 minutes after I was born. So like from my moment of existence in the world, my experience of the world was completely opposite of Emily's. So there's every reason to believe that we don't have the same neurological situations.
Yeah, the first thing Amelia did when she was born was almost die.
I'm really happy that you made it through that. I mean, the transition into the world is very difficult, but it sounds like yours was added an extra layer of difficulty.
Yeah, it was totally worth it.
I think like I don't know
Worth
what I was reading recently about like two twins that like one had like a shorter umbilical cord, and like how that they were also identical, and then one was like, I don't know, a foot taller.
Yeah.
And like had greater like brain function over her life because of the like lack of nutrients in utero.
Yeah.
Which is just like, anyway, Amelia, I think that is a lovely secret. And I have to say that last week's person also was recently diagnosed with autism, and she is a cisgender white female, also diagnosed with Asperger's within the past year during the pandemic. And so
for the record, not everybody feels okay with the word Asperger's. It's still in the ICD-10, but they removed it from the DSM-5. It's a controversial term. People use it because it communicates an idea. I just want to make sure we say out loud with everybody listening that like, if you don't like that term, feel free to erase it from your brain and replace it with autism level 1.
Thank you, Emily. I actually didn't know. My cousin also identifies as having Asperger's, and I feel like Amelia used it. That's all.
She did, yes.
I didn't mean to. I definitely, erase it from your brain if it doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Asperger was a eugenicist. He was way too fond of Hitler, and Hitler was way too fond of him, and we don't approve of him. But the fact is that people recognize that word still, and bad words are useful sometimes anyway. It sucks.
I really agree. I do think bad words are useful sometimes. Communication between humans is very complicated and messy and not effective a lot. Of the time, but it's what we got, I feel like. Emily,
except when you got music. That's right.
That's why there's art. That's why there's music, because it communicates much more efficiently.
Right? I mean, that's why you have not just words, but drawings.
I like drawing.
Exactly. All kinds of art.
Amelia, for many years, so my sister's a musician, and for many years, I told myself this lie that I was just as talented as her, but I didn't have the same like mouth structure because she sings. And therefore I was like a shitty singer. And everyone was like, don't sing, you're not good. And so wait a second, but I don't know. I'm curious if Emily, you ever,
why super mad.
Why one person went into music and no, it's not. I mean, thank you for getting upset on my behalf, because that is a lovely.
They were wrong. The only people who say that are people who don't actually know anything about singing. Anyone who actually knows about singing knows that everyone can sing, and we all feel this permission to tell people they're not good enough. And no, if you Dunning-Kruger says that if you think you know enough to tell someone they can't sing, shut up, because you don't know. I'm an actual expert. I have a doctorate in this, and I'm telling you, you can sing. Your voice is worthy. Okay.
No, I really appreciate that, because it took many years of like suppressing the joy that one gets from singing because one is bad at it, or I was bad at it. But
you weren't bad at it. You were being told by the outside world that you were bad at it, and you didn't feel comfortable enough with your own expertise and deservedness to feel good about the joy that you were having when it's called meta emotions, when you feel bad about your enjoyment, then it's, no, and you're not alone.
It's the same. So mad. It's the same narrative as with everything else, as with like your body is not good enough, your voice is not good enough, your art talent, drawing is not good enough, you're too emotional to be a scientist. It's all of the same thing, being told by someone else that we're not good enough. The only people who do that are people who don't know enough to be actually capable of making a judgment.
Where do you think the line is because some people I feel like Angela Duckworth talks a bit about this, that like where the line of inspiration, do you have thoughts about her? Sorry.
So I mean, so we were raised in a family where persistence was the key word. Our mother had the quote from Calvin Coolidge about how persistence alone is what makes people successful.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's like
thing too.
And also there's some autism happening. Like we are people who lock into something and work very hard and focus intensely on that thing for literally 12 hours at a time. Like we have all the grit anyone could possibly want. And that does not prevent people from judging us based on our appearances or our gender or our economic background. So grit doesn't help you when your problem is you're being oppressed. So in particular, the addition of grit to the narrative when we're talking about people of color, particularly like Black women and people at other intersections of oppression and identity. I want like cool, work hard. And also if it feels too hard, that's because it is too hard.
Well, I feel like that having that, it doesn't take into account the systematic oppressions that different people face, for sure.
So when you feel like you need more grit, what you actually need is more help.
I think I still, even to this day, so my partner who is not here and doesn't watch these, so I feel comfortable saying this. He doesn't like it when I ask for help. I have to wait until he comes up with the idea that he wants to help. And it's like this really tricky dance that I really hate, because it's so much more effective to just be like, can you help me with this? And also I feel like I want to help him. So I don't understand that. I think I've been pretty obsessed with the why.
Human giver syndrome.
Yeah. Can you talk to me a little bit about human giver syndrome? Because we didn't talk about that during the live, and I feel like that's also a really fascinating part of the book.
I just want to say real quick that if you already feel the freedom that you should be able to ask, hey, I need some help, like that's amazing. That means that you already have a lot of, like, you're already ready to do a lot of this work, and you're not as, lost in a drowning moral sea as some people are. So that's amazing. Good for you. Yay. Okay, Emily, now describe the thing.
Thank you for that affirmation. I needed it because I feel sometimes very lost.
So for people who haven't read the book yet, human giver syndrome is read the book because it's more interesting than this, but it's basically the idea that women have a moral obligation to be pretty, happy, calm, generous, and attentive to the needs of others at all times. And because this is a moral obligation, if we fall short, we deserve to be punished. And if there's no one around to punish us, we will just go ahead and beat the crap out of ourselves. And so as a human giver, if you dare to ask for help, you have already failed. And it makes, and like there is like generally a gender difference if you like, so there's human beings and there's human givers, and a lot of men are raised from boyhood to feel entitled, competitive, and acquisitive, to really maximize their humanity. So when your partner was raised as a boy, he was taught that he should have his own idea, and he should execute that idea. And that is how he knows he's being a good man. Asking for help is weak and demanding, and you're just like clinging onto his coattails. Right, yeah. That's factually incorrect, but it is everything that he was taught for his entire life. So like, I understand why he feels that way. So it seems to me like you need to have a very big fight. You could go the route of like, so I read this thing in a book where like it talks about human giver syndrome and how like I really feel like I have to do all the things, but like it's just not true that I can do all the things. And when I ask you for help, I feel bad about asking sometimes. And also you really don't like it because you got the other script. Like you could like help him with his feelings, which is absolutely the human giver thing to do. The human giver thing is to like make sure he feels okay while you're in the middle of trying to convince him that you shouldn't have to work so hard to convince him to help you.
It's a kind of a mind fuck.
Yeah, which is why my recommendation is actually to skip that and have a big yelling fight where you say, I need you to shut up and just listen to what I am saying. Don't listen to the tone of voice, except to recognize that this really matters to me. And when I am done saying a sentence, I want you to say it back to me. Whoa. I am allowed to ask for help. We are partners. You are required to help. Mm-hmm. When I ask for help, you should be grateful that I am communicating so clearly what my needs are instead of being passive aggressive. You're welcome. Say that back to me. What did I just say? And keep doing it until he gets it.
So I'm gonna have to watch this like 5 times because that was kind of a lot for me to memorize in one.
You don't have to. You don't say the words.
Oh no, but it was really good, Emily. It was really good. So I feel like it's worth it.
I'm spoiled because I'm married to a natural human giver, a cishet dude who is a giver. Like, so we don't, he shows up for me in ways that no one in my life has ever shown up for me. He just voluntarily, spontaneously helps. He's amazing.
So I am acquainted with Richard.
Yes.
Like very small comparatively.
Yeah. Because he does on my email, because he helps so much.
He's also really good at it.
I know.
Really nice.
I just want to say that I am also married to a human giver who's a wonderful, sensitive person, but even he sometimes gets lost in his I'm doing me stuff. And I have to actually be like, I need help. This is where I'm at. These are my daily tasks that I have to do every day. And I need you to do this. It has been a long time since I've needed to like, have a breakdown in order to get his attention and remind him of these facts. But we all need reminding, no matter how fantastic we ordinarily are.
So Emily, I feel like instead of you sharing a secret, I shared a secret that I am now and got a prescription for having a fight, which I really feel like when you were saying that was like acknowledging my mad woman.
That's so great.
And that she's there. I also feel like it was
she's mad, right?
Yeah.
But she's mad at the world and at your partner, and she's also mad at you, and she can't quite figure out who to blame.
I think that my mother was like a really rageful woman. And I think that she closeted it or like pushed it down. And so I feel like that rage, I can feel it when it comes inside of me. And I can feel it when it's interesting to think about acknowledging it because I don't know how to do that.
Amelia, she can feel her rage.
Sorry.
She can feel your rage? That's
you don't have rage? Is that
I had to read in a book. Someone had to write like a scientific thing explaining how rage is in your body for me to be like, wait, rage is in my body? Because I didn't know that. And one of the really hard things, because alexithymia, but one of the really hard things about that is to think that if the rage I've just experienced got like repressed and I didn't notice it happened below the level of my conscious awareness, and this has been happening my whole life, oh my God, all the rage that I have not felt, but that is in me, it's so much. How do I face that? Big.
Yeah, I don't know. Where does it live in you?
I have no idea. I have alexithymia.
Okay.
I don't know.
It lives in her digestive system and her reproductive organs.
And my muscles and my ligaments. It's just
everywhere. It's kind of everywhere. There's so much of it that it's just sort of everywhere.
Can I ask one really like logistical question and then I swear I'll let you go? So I posted something about how our emotions live in our bodies. I don't know, like a month ago or something like that. It was actually, I spoke with Kristen Neff,
Yep.
and she was pretty rad. But the point is like some people in the comments said like, oh, this is just pseudoscience. And I was wondering if you could give me a good response to that.
Okay. Oh, Amelia, do you want to do a thing?
No,
Do
I
a
just want
song,
this
Amelia? Oh,
for those people.
Just a dance, not a song.
And then I want to recommend the book "The Body Keeps the Score" by Bessel van der Kolk.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, obviously, there's a buttload of science. The Body Keeps the Score is like a compendium of here's all the science that says emotions happen in your body. It's not surprising that someone would think that because we live in an emotion dismissing culture that tells us to be lockjaw puritanical New Englanders who never experience any emotions. Everything is fine. That is the family we were raised in. Cool, I get it. And
All right.
I guess we do have a song. Like the simplest possible example, stress, right? Adrenaline, cortisol, glycocorticoids, oh my, all the things. So that increases your blood pressure for a very short period of time. You're being chased by a lion, your blood pressure goes up. Your blood vessels are designed to handle like a steady trickling stream. But when they have to do the fire hose of the stress response, that's fine because the stress response is only supposed to last a few minutes, 10 minutes maybe. And then your blood pressure will go back down and your body has time to repair the damage that was done to your blood vessels by the fire hose. If you stay in an elevated state of stress, though, not only do you have much more fire hose happening in your blood vessels, they also never have a chance to heal. And those little places of damage are where plaques form. So literally, physically, just stress causes heart disease. I could tell the same story about every body system.
Thank you.
Musculoskeletal, digestive, reproductive, every single one.
To be fair to the people I just gave the finger, that's what I thought until I read the science. And then I wrote a book about it.
It took her being like lying on the bathroom floor thinking she was going to die and being hospitalized twice.
Yeah.
For her to finally be like, maybe I should do something about this.
Well, I do think it all going back to, I've never heard this term before. You used it, we exist in this emotionally dismissive culture, and that feels really true.
So that language comes from John Gottman. He wrote a
yeah.
book called Raising an Emotionally Intelligent Child. He talks about meta emotions also in his book, The Science of Trust. So that's where we got the language of emotion dismissing and emotion coaching, which is the opposite of emotion dismissing. Which one's better? You can tell by the name.
Amelia, may I hear your response in song form? And then I swear I will let you guys go.
The song is on the longer side and it's not one of my like fun, interesting songs. It's like calm and chill.
Okay.
Is there time for that?
I feel like well, you guys are the ones that
we're on our own time, Amelia.
Okay. Every morning.
Amelia.
What?
Stop and turn on original sound.
Oh, is it already doing the thing? Can I on my phone?
I don't know if you can do it. You might have to skip it because it sounds really crappy.
Settings. Oh, darn.
Well, Amelia,
I don't think I have original sound on my phone.
Are these available someplace online that I could just link to?
Some of them I've been posting on my YouTube channel, like by request. I'll
just link your YouTube. I can link your YouTube channel.
Okay, it's very tiny. It's not like I have a fancy YouTube channel. It's just,
where she posts her songs and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's what? I will specifically record this to post so you can have a link to it.
That would be amazing. Do you mind sending me the link?
No. I can also ask. Casual.
Amazing.
It's on my I think it's on the Burnout Instagram. This is one of the early songs I've recorded and posted on the. I have some like Burnout songs on the Instagram page of the Burnout book group.
The Burnout book group. Okay, I can link to that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, I'm really sorry, Emily, that we didn't get to any secret from you. Unless
Amelia's secrets are basically my secrets too.
I have a secret for Emily. Okay. Emily has a pseudonym. She writes romance novels under the pseudonym Emily Foster. You heard it here. Emily Foster, romance novels.
Wait.
Yes, it's true.
2 more minutes. Wait a second. Okay. So how did this come about? And I guess it's not like that surprising, but like I am fascinated by the idea of a pseudonym. Like, why? Like two
Yeah.
Emilys? But also, what topics?
So I am a reader of romance novels. I do a lot of work around sexual violence, so I require happily ever afters in my life. And romance novels are a place to go get that. And so like I'm a fan. And as I was writing Come As You Are, 50 Shades of Grey was very much a thing while I was doing the writing. And I was like, I'm a romance reader. I might as well like see what's up. I read it. It was not for me. In fact, it made me so angry I threw it against the wall for any number of reasons. And I had a blog called The Dirty Normal, and I wrote 5 blog posts about how like there has got to be a way to tell the story of a young and experienced woman experiencing her sexual awakening with an older, more powerful man, but do it in a way that is feminist, sex positive, and not least empirically reasoned, like medically accurate. And my blog readers were like, money where your mouth is, girl. So I wrote it.
So what is this called? Sorry. So
it's a duology, which means that there's 2 books, and the format is a duology. There's 2 books. The first one ends on a cliffhanger, and the second one is the happily ever after. The first one is called How Not to Fall, and the second one is called How Not to Let Go. I wrote the first one. I sent it to my agent. She's like, I can sell this. And I was like, all right. Okay. And so I became a romance author. I use a different name, basically as like a brand differentiation. Like, do not expect research. I'm not giving you advice. I'm not giving you information. This is just a story that harnesses the stuff I know about sex and relationships.
Oh my God. Sorry. No,
and you will get no details about the story because Amelia like can never know what I wrote in those books. Because there's a lot of sex.
But
they're erotic romances.
Would you read your sister's erotica?
Yeah, I for sure would. I find it, I don't know. So my sister, yeah, no, I would, I'm thoroughly intrigued. But I also feel like as a person who grew up in a feminist household, but who didn't, there was still a lot of like repression or suppression of sexual needs and desires. And so there's like I felt like a very limited palette of media that you could consume on the topic. And all of them always had this sort of like, like I wanted something that I could be like aroused by and feel good about. Like,
yeah.
And
21st century romance in particular has a lot to offer. And like, there's so many different kinds of stories. There are so many feminist intended and identified writers. There are so many more writers of color who are like telling their own stories. It's #ownstories if you follow that. May I recommend Alyssa Cole as a really good starting place.
Like, I don't even like romance, but I like Alyssa Cole.
Did you I think my first introduction was Sarah Waters.
I don't remember that name.
She wrote Tipping the Velvet, and I think I read 2 books by hers, but she's like more of a lesbian romance novelist.
Yeah.
Not that. But then also I feel like, did you read Audre Lorde's Zami?
Yeah.
I feel like there was some, I don't think I need the like, anyway, besides the point.
I remember super sexiness in it's Zami, like Say My Name or something.
It was, there was love, there was like attraction and love that I think for me is sort of an, what were you going to say, Emily?
I would also recommend Courtney Milan, Milan.
Okay, I'll put these in the notes. And
the most recent one is The Duke Who Didn't, and it is really funny.
Amazing. Thank you both so much for coming, and I will handle the giveaways on this. And I just, I'm a super huge fan. If you ever need anything from me, let me know.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.